The moment your eyes open in the morning, you enter a battle, not with the world or your schedule, but with something far more dangerous: comfort. That quiet voice that whispers, just 5 more minutes, start tomorrow, play it safe. And if you're not prepared, if you don't rise with intention, that voice wins, and your dream fades a little more before breakfast. Here's the truth no one likes to admit: your morning isn't just a block of time, it's a message to the universe saying, I'm committed, or I'm still sleeping on my potential. The successful, the relentless, the legendary don't start their mornings like everyone else, they design them. They don't wake up into chaos, they create clarity because they know what most forget: mornings are sacred. And how you rise determines how far you go. Habit 1, they control the first thought. Most people wake up and grab their phone, flooding their mind with distractions, comparisons, and noise. But not the successful. They guard the first thought of the day like oxygen, because it is. That first thought is the rudder of your mind. It decides if you drift or drive, if you spiral or soar. So they wake with intention, not by accident, but by design before the world invades their mind. They set the tone with gratitude, purpose, and passion. Not I have to, but I get to. Not another day, but another chance. Not let's see what happens, but let's make it happen. And from that shift, they don't just enter the day, they launch. Habit 2, they move their body. Before emails, before meetings, before decisions, they move. Because the body isn't just a vessel, it's a trigger. Motion is the fastest way to spark motivation, to shift from sleep to certainty, from dreams to dominance. This isn't about a six-pack, it's about discipline. It's about sweat as a spiritual act. It's about facing the morning and declaring, I choose strength today. When you push your body, you push your limits. You remind yourself that resistance is not your enemy, it's your training partner. You begin the day in victory, and that victory multiplies because a body in motion leads to a life in momentum. Habit 3, they embrace silence before stepping into noise. The world is loud. Your phone, the news, the demands. Everything screams for attention, but the successful start with stillness because clarity doesn't shout, it whispers. If you don't make space for it, you'll miss it. They sit in silence not to escape but to recalibrate, to remember who they are. Prayer, meditation, reflection, breathing, not because it's trendy, but because the inner world must be stronger than the outer one. If you don't control the first voice you hear, the world will. But when you set the frequency, the day rises to match it. Habit 4, they review their vision daily. Successful people don't write their goals once and forget them. They revisit them every morning like scripture. They don't drift through the day hoping to find focus. They anchor their soul in purpose. While the average scrolls aimlessly, they stare into their future. They remind themselves what they're building. They burn the vision into their mind until it feels more real than the room they're standing in. That vision becomes command, and from it comes direction, decisions, and drive. Want to stay on fire? Stop trying to remember your goals, rekindle them every single morning. Habit 5, they take ownership through immediate action. The successful don't wait to feel ready. They don't ease into the day like it's a warm bath, they attack it. They do something hard first. Something meaningful now, because they know the longer you wait, the weaker you become. While the world is still yawning, they're already creating, writing, building the momentum others spend the whole day chasing. And it's not because they're superhuman, it's because they don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask, is this aligned with who I said I would become? They don't negotiate with laziness, they eliminate it. Every excuse is an enemy of their empire. They know discipline before sunrise becomes domination after. So they move, not with hustle but with honor, not with pressure but with purpose. Because when you move with purpose, even the smallest act becomes sacred. The workout becomes a war cry, the cold shower becomes a declaration, the journal becomes a blueprint. The schedule becomes proof that you no longer live by default. Now listen closely, because this is the moment you decide what kind of life you will build from this day forward. You don't need more time, better conditions, or the perfect routine. You need to become the person who wakes up with fire in their lungs and refuses to waste it. The person who gets out of bed with the same intensity most people only find in desperation, because you're not desperate, you're devoted. Devoted to your future, devoted to your purpose, devoted to rising while others sleep, pushing while others pause, becoming while others only wish. The morning is your proving ground, your testing ground, your launching pad. And the moment you stop waking up in chaos and start waking up with command, you stop living reactively and start leading a life that demands attention. You want success, win the first battle of the day and the rest will follow. Let the world sleep, let the weak wait. But you rise, build, own the morning, and in doing so, you own your life. There comes a moment when every ambitious soul wakes up and realizes survival is no longer enough. Survival is for the uncertain, for the passive, but you were never made to coast. You weren't designed to drift through days with a muted heart and an uninspired mind. You are a leader not by title, but by temperament, not by role, but by responsibility. And if you're awake enough to hear these words, you know it. You feel the call to rise, to sharpen, to lead not just others, but yourself. Because all leadership begins within. No crown, no position, no applause can compensate for a person who cannot command their own mind, their own days, their own destiny. You cannot lead others until you can lead yourself out of mediocrity, and that's where transformation begins. Plan 1. Master your internal world or be a slave to your external one. The battlefield of the ambitious isn't the market, the economy, or the competition. It's the space between your ears. The most dangerous war is the silent one, the one you wage against your own limitations, your own excuses, your own doubt whispering, "Maybe I'm not ready." But true leaders don't wait to feel ready, they decide to be ready. They command their thoughts like a general commands an army. Every day before the world even sees you, you must win in the dark, win when the alarm goes off, win when your body says no and your purpose says go. Win when your mind negotiates with weakness and you answer back with clarity, discipline, and authority. You weren't built to follow the mood of the day, you were built to set it. Plan 2. Lead with clarity or be led by chaos. An unclear leader is a dangerous leader, not because they're bad, but because they drift. And when leaders drift, businesses stall, families suffer, futures delay. Clarity is the compass. Too many ambitious people are busy without direction, exhausted for goals they never defined. Movement doesn't earn results, alignment does. So stop and ask, what am I building? Why does it matter? Who must I become to deserve it? Write it, speak it, burn it into your mind, because once clarity exists, everything else aligns. Decisions become easy, distractions lose power, life stops feeling like noise and starts feeling like a mission. Plan 3. Upgrade your standards or get buried under your circumstances. Too many leaders suffer because they try to fix results without fixing the root, and the root is always standards. You don't rise to your potential, you fall to your standards, and if your standards are based on emotion, convenience, or the comfort of fitting in, you'll fail silently and call it balance. You don't need balance, you need alignment, you need conviction, you need standards so high they repel everything that doesn't belong in your future. Raise them so high they offend the part of you that wants to play small. Raise them until they scare you, because that's when they align with your calling. Then enforce them not once, not when it's easy, but every day until they become identity. Once identity is anchored in power, activate Plan 4, take full ownership. Every win, every loss, every inch of progress, the moment you assign blame, you surrender your influence. Leaders don't play the victim, they don't wait for rescue, they don't outsource responsibility. They look in the mirror and say, if it's to be, it's up to me. You can't control everything, but you control your response. You control how you lead in storms, how you speak when emotions rise, whether you panic or plan. Blame builds nothing. Ownership builds empires, so stop pointing fingers, start building foundations. Plan 5. Design your environment for war, not comfort. Your environment is never neutral. It's pulling you forward or dragging you back. Every leader has blind spots and traps, excuses disguised as routines, sabotage disguised as friends. If your environment doesn't align with your vision, it will keep pulling you into the past. Clean the room. Change the music, cut the noise, block the apps, remove the energy drainers, surround yourself with forces that sharpen you, not soothe you. A lion doesn't grow strong in a petting zoo. It needs the wild, the pressure, the hunt. You weren't made to be coddled. You were made to conquer. Plan 6. Move with urgency. Live like your legacy depends on the next decision, because it does. The clock is not your friend, it's your rival. Every second you waste pretending you have time is a second you'll beg for when the clock runs out. Leaders don't wait, they initiate. They know someday is code for never. They don't need permission, they need a reason. And if your reason is big enough, resistance won't stop you. Stop sitting on ideas. Stop waiting for signs. Move, make the call, start the draft, launch the product, send the message, cut the dead weight. You're not here to manage time. You're here to maximize it. So rise, begin, execute like your life depends on it, because it does. The distance between where you are and where you could be isn't measured in miles. It's measured in moments. The moments you act versus the moments you delay. The moments you choose courage over comfort. Plan 7. Trade comfort for capacity. Every ambitious leader must accept this truth. Comfort is the enemy of growth, the very thing you crave. Ease, safety, rest is the very thing that will dull your edge if you're not alert. Capacity, not comfort, is the currency of greatness, and the only way to expand it is to stretch. Stretch through early mornings. Stretch through hard conversations. Stretch by saying no when yes feels easier. Stretch by doing one more rep, writing one more page, breaking through one more obstacle, not because you feel like it, but because you're committed to becoming the person who can handle what the future demands. Leadership isn't about holding on to what you have. It's about preparing for what you're building. That preparation requires a plan. Plan 8. Discipline your attention as if your future depends on it, because it does. Focus is the ultimate strength in today's world. In a flood of distractions, the leader who can sit still, lock onto a task, and execute without scattering their mind wins. Because attention isn't just mental, it's spiritual. Where your focus goes, your faith follows. You become what you consistently look at. So, audit what you consume, clear your feed, cut the noise, close the extra tabs, and protect your energy like a throne. Because what occupies your mind will decide the strength of your empire. Once your focus is sharp, you activate Plan 9. Design habits for your identity, not just your goals. Goals are outcomes, but habits shape who you are. Habits keep you steady when motivation fades, when applause stops, when it's just you and the standard you promise to live by. You don't rise to what you claim, you rise to what you repeat. If your daily systems are built for average, no ambition can save you from mediocrity. So build habits that match the future version of you. Wake like they wake, train like they train, learn like they learn. Execute like they execute. Show up as if your dream self already exists, and one day they will. From identity flows Plan 10. Think long, term but move fast. True leaders think in decades, not days. They're not chasing dopamine, they're building dynasties. But don't confuse long-term vision with slow movement. Just because your eyes are on the sum, it doesn't mean your steps should drag. Move quickly on ideas. Pivot with agility. Execute at the speed of belief. Delay trains your brain to distrust. Speed isn't recklessness, it's readiness. It says, I won't wait for perfect conditions. I move because I know who I am. When you move with speed and think with legacy, you step into the realm of the elite, those who build and endure. That leads to Plan 11. Fortify resilience before the storm hits. The question isn't if adversity will strike. It's when. And when it does, a leader doesn't panic. They pivot because they've built on truth, not trends, on principles, not popularity. Resilience is built by facing small discomforts daily so that big challenges don't break you. You've rehearsed resistance. You've faced failure and said, you don't define me, you refine me. Hard times don't create character, they reveal it. Only the disciplined will stand when the winds rise. Prepare now. Through mindset, systems, and strong allies who call out the champion in you when you forget. As resilience strengthens your core, you ignite Plan 12. Surround yourself only with people who reflect your future, not your past. There's no neutral energy in your circle. Every interaction either fuels your fire or feeds your fear. Every voice either echoes your purpose or erodes it. Protect your circle like a sacred chamber. No room for laziness, entitlement, or mediocrity disguised as support. If they're not pushing you, challenging you, elevating you, they're pulling you down. Surround yourself with people who destroy excuses, build vision, and remind you who you vowed to be when the fire was fresh. Your circle is either your launchpad or your cage. Choose wisely. With the right people, locked-in habits, and a sharp mindset, you activate Plan 13. Speak like a leader, especially to yourself. Words shape worlds, and no one hears your voice more than you. Every phrase you repeat is a command to your subconscious. Stop speaking in uncertainty. Stop hiding behind sarcasm and self-doubt. That's not humility, it's sabotage. Speak power, speak vision, speak truth even if it sounds arrogant to the small-minded. Speak with the authority of someone who's already decided to win. Let your voice become the soundtrack of your transformation every day, every moment, every mirror. As your voice rises, so must your heart. Plan 14. Lead with gratitude, not just grind. Grind without gratitude becomes bitterness. Hustle without heart becomes emptiness. But when you root your pursuit in awe in the privilege of building, creating, serving, you access a deeper strength. Gratitude doesn't make you soft, it makes you solid because it gives perspective. It reminds you that you get to lead. You get to face pressure, you get to carry weight. Every obstacle is a gift, every delay is refinement. Every long night proves you haven't quit. Be grateful, not just for what you gain, but for who you're becoming. And now, with your fire stoked and habits firm, you reach Plan 15. Lead yourself relentlessly so you can lead others effortlessly. Leadership isn't about control, applause, or followers, it's about becoming. You lead because you choose the harder path, owning your flaws, sharpening your strengths, and carrying vision when others collapse. The more you lead yourself, the less you need to push others. Your life becomes the message, your actions become the standard. So rise, lead from the inside out. Let your thoughts be intentional, your words weapons of truth, your actions the foundation of legacy. Because the world doesn't need more noise, it needs you. Fully alive, fully aligned, fully unleashed. When you lead like that, not from ego or image, but from essence, everything changes. You don't chase influence, you become it. You don't force respect, you earn it. You don't need to be seen because your presence becomes impossible to ignore. This is ambitious leadership, a quiet rebellion against mediocrity, a deliberate defiance against everything that says stay small. It's not performed on stages, it's lived in silence. It's waking before doubt, outworking fear, sharpening your soul while others scroll. It's building what they can't see so one day they marvel at what you refuse to quit on. Because ambition without structure is anxiety, and leadership without mastery is just noise. But you're not here to echo, you're here to initiate, so lead with legacy in mind. Stop reacting, start architecting. Create space for what matters, build systems that protect peace and multiply purpose. Stop explaining your vision to those who haven't earned it. Rise not just in results, but in resonance. Let your presence speak louder than your profile. Your consistency becomes your credibility. Your attitude becomes your authority. The world will never know the private sacrifices, but you will, and that's enough. Leaders don't need praise, they need purpose. You're building more than success. You're building a legacy that outlives you. And when they ask how you changed your life, you won't give a list, you'll live it, because nothing speaks louder than alignment. No speech or post can rival the quiet power of a person who embodies what they preach. You're not just talking about greatness, you're constructing it, brick by brick, day by day. While others chase shortcuts, you chase mastery. While others seek comfort, you seek clarity. While others want recognition, you embrace responsibility. Leadership isn't about standing in front. It's about standing firm when storms come, money dips, teams falter, and the world changes. It's about becoming unshakable, a pillar of principle, a force that doesn't flinch when tested. That identity isn't built in a day. It's forged through every intentional decision. Each morning, remember, you're not just waking to tasks, you're waking to testimony. You're not just building a life, you're building proof that discipline wins. Purpose speaks louder than fear, and ambition aligned with integrity moves mountains. Because you weren't sent to copy, you were sent to create. And when your life resonates with truth, vision, and impact, the world shifts not because you demanded it, but because your presence made it undeniable.